Hi everyone, it's Claire from ScrappyNerdUK and today I'm up for Scrap Academy and I wanted to talk to you about using dies. Now dies are one of those things that I always forget to use in my scrapbooking, but some of the Pink Fresh collections that have come out quite recently have had these gorgeous bows in, and they have not lasted me very long at all, so I wanted an alternative. So I went into my stash and I have found that I actually had this bow die. So it looks rather odd, but I thought I could just recreate the bows that you are getting in the ephemera packs, or the pack of bows that you buy. They are fabric bows and these are just paper. But these are close enough for my liking. So I made a whole ton of all of these bows, and here I've chosen to use the Pink Paisley FIFA Monaco collection, and I'm going to put it all together and make a layout with it just by using this one bow. So these are going to be my main embellishments, and we'll see how we get on.
Okay, so I've just put the video on fast forward, and we're going to do this in double speed. I have cut out, should I say, some of the boring bits where I'm cutting and sticking, so I'm sure you don't need to see me do all of that. So what I'm doing is I have grabbed a plate from the cupboard and a Minnie Mouse plate, of course, and I have drawn around that to give myself a template. So I had an idea of creating, I love wreath layouts, and creating a wreath of bows. And because this takes so little paper to actually create all of these bows, I can afford to use all of these on one layout. Now, if I was to use a whole pack of bows, a pack of the ephemera bows that you buy, Pink Fresh is the only one that I know that have actually released those at the moment, but there may be others. I wouldn't use all of those bows on one layout because they're not cheap. And so this is a happy medium between wanting to use all of the bows and not wanting to pay to use all of the bows. So yeah, I could use tons on here and not have to worry, because it's just a small amount of pattern paper that I've used to create the same effect as I would have done if I'd have used the pre-bought ones. So I really encourage you to have a look at what dies you've got, see what you can do with them. See if there's anything out there that you particularly like that you can get a die for, that you can recreate your own. Tags is a great one. So rather than buying tags, you can buy tag dies that you can recreate your own. So yeah, anyway, I've just babbling on there. So all I've done is I've stuck those down. I just used a bit of wet glue because I knew that I was going to put the layout through my sewing machine. And then what I've done is I then stitched all the way through the middle of those bows. And I've gone around 3 times, I think, just in a white stitching. And then just to add some interest and also just to tie it all in together, I have used some white acrylic ink splatters, and I'm also using some gold Heidi Swap colour shine here as well. This is a rare commodity, this stuff, so I am clinging on to the last bits of it with my dear life until they bring out an alternative. So back to the paper pad, and so I'm working with the single-sided paper pad here, the 12x12. And you can see there the patterns that I've used, where I've cut them, and I've left the paper in the actual paper pad, so I don't necessarily always pull the full sheet out, because then it leaves it loose. Now I did pull it out for this reason, because I wanted to measure up my layers for my photos, but I'll show you a little tip to be able to bind your pattern paper back in without it all falling out, because that's one thing that is an absolute bugbear, which is why I tend not to pull it out unless I'm using a large chunk or if I'm using the whole sheet. So just having a flick through, I knew that I had this white with black polka dot paper, and so I am going to pull that out of the paper pad, because again I want to line it up in order to cut my layers. So here I'm just doing 2 simple layers behind my photo. I've matted my photo on white already, and I'm just going to go with 2 of the pattern papers that appear in the bows already. So when I measured the green one, I just added about 1/8 of an inch extra around the photo. And then with this black and white one, I've done another 1/8 of an inch bigger than that. So here all I'm doing is just making sure the paper is all the way to the top of the pad, and then adding a bulldog clip. So that will keep all of that paper together. So all of the scrap, not necessarily scraps, but the offcuts of paper that would be loose in there, that would constantly fall out, are nice and tucked away in there now and held together with a bulldog clip. So I'm only going to show you one of these. I've offset my 2 layers and then again offset my photo so they're all at jaunty angles. And I've decided to put the photos inside so I'm not covering up any of the bows, because that would be tragic. So I'm now just going to go through the ephemera. Now the whole idea of this is I wanted to avoid too much ephemera on this, because the whole point is the die has done most of the work for me. So I'm only going to add in a couple of extra things here. First of all, there were these 2 tags in the ephemera pack, and I didn't want to lose the rest of the tag because I'm just going to tuck them behind the photo. So I just cut the top off, which leaves me the other bits that I can use on another project. And then just going through just to see if there are any bits or any other bits that I wanted to add. I was going to look at that pink circle there for my journaling, but it's not going to work. And then I liked this word, this ephemera piece that said right now. So that's going to make it on. Now I was going to add these butterflies, and apologies it's slightly off screen at the moment, but I will pull the layout back into shot. The butterflies didn't make it in the end, because again I just wanted to, every time I added something on I just wanted to scale it back, and not go too mad. So I do end up with sort of 3 clusters in the end, around the wreath of bows, and you'll see those as I go through the mainly the sticker sheet. I start to create the 3 clusters with stickers and some puffy stickers as well. And then you see here these just all too big to go on here. So if I wanted to add anything on, I'd want to keep it fairly small. And let the bows do the work for me. So here I'm just adding in, lifting up those layers and adding in these, the tops of the tags, but not all of the tags. So if you didn't know this as a little tip, then and you've got if it's from an ephemera pack and it's the tag is nice and you want to use the rest of it on another project, then just feel free, snip off the tops. It looks like the tags are tucked behind. They're not. That's our little secret. And then I'm just going to come in with this little floral piece because I thought it was lovely. And these photographs here, I'll explain a little bit. We had gone to Florida last year, and we drove over an hour to go to a Joann's. I think this was the local one actually. We'd been to a Joann's, and I dragged my husband to Joann's to go and get all of the Chanel Sparkle City stuff, and literally the shelves were just empty, and I was gutted. So we drove to another one that was like an hour away, and I was a bit more successful there. So when we were in there, I did one of the in things as it was back then, and had shoved my head into the back of my head into some floral arrangements in the shop, and grabbed a selfie, and I obviously had a photograph there of the empty shelves as well. So although this isn't travel themed, this will be going into my travel layout, my travel album, should I say. So I'm trying to be a bit more open about what I put into my travel albums, and it doesn't all have to be travel themed. And I love the fact that all of these colours are so pretty, apart from the green, but I'm trying to embrace the green and get the green used, that I just wanted to use this to document my love of pretty paper, and how gutted I was when we went there and it was the shelves were empty. Got a feeling this was the second shop actually. I can't remember what I write in my journaling, But I remember I was more successful at the second one. I think I managed to get some of the other collections from there as well. So I'm just going to use these little puffy alphas from the same collection to spell out here and now. And then I'm going to add in some more puffy stickers from this sheet here. So I think there's 2 white and a black. So there are my clusters on the left, the right and at the top. And you can't see it very well, but those stickers are gold foil, which helps with the gold Highly Swap colour shine that I've used. So I'm just going to add my journaling around the edge of this circle here. And then this layout is pretty much done. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's given you some inspiration to get those dies out. And I'll see you again next month for another class over at Scrap Academy. See you soon. Bye.